Ryan, what to you was the difference between the first and second half in terms of the open threes that you were able to get? You got a lot of good looks in that first half. It seemed like things just kind of tightened up second.
Yeah, first and foremost, I want to give all glory to God just to be in this position and be able to play this game. But I would just say, not even just for me, but just for the offense in general, we didn't get stops like we did in the first half. And, we love to get out in transition. And when we foul and we're constantly taking the ball out of the basket every single time, it slows us down, me and the team. So I would say that's just the biggest thing. We just need to get more stops and just guard the ball better.
Yeah, it looked like you guys had trouble stopping the penetration by the guards in the second half. What were they doing to get that?
They weren't doing anything, any crazy actions or anything. It was just a ball screen in the middle, and it was nothing special. Like, we just have to guard the ball. They were just getting downhill at will, and we have to be better.
Yeah.
We will be.
Just got to take it personal. Defense is everything, man. That's what's going to take us far. And all of us, every single one of us, have to take it personal. And they literally, like Ryan said, they weren't doing anything special. They just give the ball to the point guard and move the ball screen. And we just have to be better.
Kind of going off that, it seemed like you guys had that energy in the first half on the defensive end. Getting a lot of stops, creating havoc with some of your double teams down low. Just, I guess, kind of asking like the same question in a different way, but like, what in a sense changed, obviously, because you come out of halftime with the lead. Ryan and Javon were in here talking yesterday about just like trying to play a full 40 minutes tonight. Just kind of what kind of shifted there? Do you feel like that they just came out and threw the first punch in the second half?
Yeah, like Coach told us, they threw the first punch and we just didn't respond like the whole half. And I feel like we let our offense dictate our defense a lot in the second half. And like first half, everything was falling, everybody was making, we were getting stops. And then second half, they punched us first, and we were missing turnovers. And then we kind of let that affect us. We fouled too much in the second half. Like Ryan said, we couldn't get out in transition. That's what we do. And kind of fouled too much during the free throw line. You're out of bounds a lot, and we weren't us in the second half. So.
Ali, if you could just talk about, from the big man perspective, what's the most difficult thing of guarding that screen roll action for Duke? Like, as far as your responsibilities, what's the most difficult thing about what they were doing in the second half?
We just have – Coach always says we have to be there. When you're running a ball screen over and over again, we just have to do a better job affecting the ball, and the guards beat it up. And they did nothing special. I feel like we just had to be more tougher than them and just bothering them, just beating ball screens, and just all of us connected, like, collectively. So that's what I feel like. So.
Yeah, probably. You obviously had a breakout performance today shooting. What worked for you today? What allowed you to maybe have the performance that you had, and how do you kind of take this performance moving forward?
I'll give all credit to my teammates. We have a lot of great players, and they kind of let me open because we have a lot of great shooters, and my job is just to knock them down, to just be better, and hopefully that continues. My teammates find me open, and hopefully I find them open and everything. But I give all credits to my teammates. They found me. I was open, and I did the easy job, just knocking the shots down. So.
Ryan, if you could just kind of talk about, seems like in the second half of the last couple of games, ball handling has been a little bit tough offensively. Is it a situation where do you think it's fatigue, or just like what's been the biggest difference? Because there has been some turnovers in the second half.
You talk just for me or
just the team in general? Yeah.
I would say it kind of goes into like on the defensive end. When we're constantly like taking the ball out of bounds after they score, they can pick us up on defense. make us work all the way up the court, just pressure us, set their defense up, things like that. Whereas if we're getting stops, we get out in transition, the floor is more spaced, and we can get downhill easier. So I would say, it all just reverts back to our defense. Like when we're getting stops, it makes our offense that much easier. But when we're not and we're fouling, it makes it that much harder for us, to do anything, run actions, take care of the ball, everything. So.
Yeah, when the defense is clicking like that, did you feel like it was just kind of like an energy and effort standpoint, like during the first half, or do you feel like you were able to get some things off them based on like your scheming and how you're able to draw things up going into the matchup?
It's definitely credit to the scheme, but at the end of the day, defense comes down to effort, and just being disciplined. Like at the end of the day, we can have the best scheme in the world, but if nobody's running around and giving the maximum effort, the scheme's not gonna matter. So. Like in the first half, we were flying around and we had, maximum effort, and kind of like Ali said, in the second half, we, at moments allowed, our offense to dictate our defense.
Thank you, guys.
Very, very disappointed. Crowd was amazing. The atmosphere was ridiculous. Just very, very disappointed with our performance in the second half. Defense, they shot 70% from the field. Everything was at the rim. We start fouling again. Weren't able to get out in transition because they were standing at the free throw line, or we were taking the ball out of the net. I thought, number one, Caleb Foster was a game changer in the second half. We really, really struggled to keep him out of the paint. Obviously, so much of our focus is on number 12, and we didn't do a good job both on our one-on-one defense, and they really attacked us off the middle pick and roll, and we had to do a much better job than we did. So our guys were in the locker room. I come in and I address the team all the time, and I have my bullet points that I want to get across, and then I talk about the path forward and what's coming up over the next couple days, because I really think this is a crucial point of our season. It's as much adversity as we faced since we came together on June 5th. The cohesiveness of our team, not splintering, sticking together, staying with the process, and having a couple great days of preparation. So really, really important couple days. As I began to address the team, Javon Hadley, Ryan Conwell, Kobe Rogers, I could go on. They did all of the talking, and what they said was extremely encouraging, because player-led teams are way more powerful, are way better than coach-led teams. So I, as their coach, have to do a better job of putting them in better positions in the second half. Really, really hurt us in the middle of the floor. We were undisciplined. We didn't play with poise, fouled too much, and then got disjointed on the offensive end. Credit Duke. I thought, in the second half, they took it right to us, punched us in the mouth, and when true adversity hit, we didn't respond.
Yeah, I guess what kind of changes could you have made on the?
Yeah, we just
on the
had to do a
defensive
better
end?
job, like in the middle pick and roll. We handled it very, very well in the first half. They weren't near as aggressive attacking. So much of our focus was, was on number 12, was on Boozer, and Caleb Foster really, really just put his head down and got in the paint. He's a really good player, but we got to do a better job of keeping him out of the paint, both in one-on-one defense and out of the pick and roll. So we'll be better. And obviously we learned a tough lesson in front of 20,000 people or whatever the heck the attendance was. It's a tough lesson to learn, and I'm very, very disappointed, because this could have been a great, great night, especially after how the first half went. So we got to respond better, and we will.
Coach, just in terms of the pick and roll coverage, is it a situation where is it the structure of what you were trying to do? Is it a need for a change and adjust in how you're handling the screen roll?
We could have probably should have changed our coverage more. We didn't execute the one we were in very well. They were doing a good job of running out with number 3 into guard pick and rolls, and with 12 setting pick and rolls, and he's obviously going to be the number 1 pick in the draft for a reason. He leads them in scoring, rebounding, assist, and steals. Terrific passer out of the pick and roll. And then when we started getting aggressive with it toward the end of the game, they were able to get it out of the ball screen, got it in the paint, and played a little two-man game with the big. So we needed to do a better job with that. And then we got a guard without fouling. There was just too many times in the second half where they were just unintelligent fouls that we keep on working on cleaning up, and then we have to continue to.
Pat, obviously you guys are going to shoot threes. How do you kind of balance a second half where, you made
Yeah.
10 in the first, but, in terms of still trying to attack and get to the rim and get maybe good kickouts or something like that, good 3 points?
Yeah. Our offense wasn't good enough in the second half either. We weren't able to get in a rhythm. Our screening actions weren't. In the first half we were phenomenal in our screening stuff. Like, they were doing a good job of trying to top block our guys. We were getting in multiple screening actions, screening physically, creating rays of light for our shooters. We're really, really in a rhythm. And you credit Duke in the second half, we weren't able to do that.
Hey, Coach. Duke was switching up its coverages a fair bit throughout the game. What layers of difficulty do you think that added?
I'm sorry, say it again?
Duke was switching up its coverages a fair bit throughout the game. What layers of difficulty do you think that added?
Yeah, their off-ball defense, they were being extremely physical. Oh, sorry about that. I'm not supposed to have that with me. They off the ball, they were being physical. In the first half, they were really trying to force us toward the basket, but we were handling it well. Really got after us, and we wanted to put foul pressure on them and drive the ball. We only had, I don't know how many assists we had in the second half, but it wasn't many. I don't feel like we shared the ball. There wasn't a lot of ball movement. We didn't have a lot of rhythm, and it wasn't good enough.
Coach, how important was Ollie stepping up the way that he did early on today?
He got clean looks in the first half and knocked him down. It really, it really got us going.
As far as Michael being out, what kind of impact does this team need to obviously have with him being out for maybe another day? What does that look like for you guys? You guys continue to try and, I guess, rally around.
Yeah, we have 13 guys on scholarship for a reason, and I've said this every single time I'm ever asked this. There's no excuses and no explanations. It's next man up. We have to figure it out with the guys that are healthy. Michael's dying to be out there. He's working his absolute tail off in his rehab. We're hoping sooner rather than later he'll be out there, but he's dying to be out there with his teammates. And we're looking forward to getting him back, but until then, whenever that is, hopefully it's in the next game. If it's not, the game after, who knows when it is. The guys that are healthy and that are out there right now, we have to be better, and we will be.
When you look at a second half defense like that, it's not, I don't want to say effort because I think guys are playing hard, but how do you evaluate it when you take a look at it? Is it something you can change structurally, schematically, or is it just a matter of, I know a lot of it's just buckle down and do it. Where do you think that happens?
Yeah, there's always that part of it, like do what we do better, but then there's always, you have to be able to change your scheme, and we tried to make some different adjustments, and they exploited them in them, but we just have to be better, both in the adjustments we make and then the execution of it.
Coach, 14 turnovers, 13 assists. In the second half of the game, Duke was very physical at the point of attack. We saw some guys lose their handle, mishandle the ball. It's kind of a two-part question. First of all, do you think that was just more fatigue or having to play a lot in the half court? And secondly, I know there's a couple of guys sitting out. Would there be any thought to a couple of guys redshirting, including London Johnson, who just came in at the semester? Would there be any thought to playing him at all this year?
No, there's no thought to that right now. First part of your question was what again?
Was it fatigue?
Oh, no. No, you're always going to credit your opponent and credit the defense. I think they did a good job at, disrupting us, deflecting the ball. Number 6, and he's been around for a long, long time. He's probably the best I've ever seen at deflecting and touching the ball. If I'm not mistaken, he was like defensive ACC Player of the Year a couple years ago when he was at Syracuse for a reason. He's got an uncanny knack for touching the ball and deflecting the ball, but it wasn't just him, it was all of them. We were able to get loose and get free in the first half off the screening actions. I call them rays of light. and getting easy looks. And, man, I didn't feel like we had any of them. But we didn't play connected, and that's indicative of the assist total. We need to share it better and get into a better rhythm offensively through executing better.
Coach, it feels like on any given night, a different Duke player can be the star of Duke's game. Does that make them at all a difficult team to prepare for?
Well, they're good. They're good and they're talented. We're good and we're talented. I mentioned, number one, Caleb Foster really stepped up in the second half and gave them a huge boost, and we had a heck of a time keeping them out of the lane and keeping them away from the rim. But there's no doubt they're talented. They're very good, but so are we.